Cena. Don't make me cry. Hold on a minute. Okay. I'm going to have to get the words where I can see it. In life's troubles, sorrows, pain, earnestly I seek thee. Fill my soul with peace again. Earnestly I seek thee. None but you and you alone. Take my life, make it your own. In my offering, build your home. Earnestly I seek thee. In life's triumphs, victories, earnestly I seek thee. In the shadow of the Almighty, earnestly I seek thee. None but you and you alone. Take my life, make it your own. In my offering, build your home. Earnestly I seek thee. Who am I that you would care? Earnestly I seek thee. All my days, my nights, you're there. Earnestly I seek thee. None but you and you alone. Take my life, make it your own. In my offering, build your home. Earnestly I seek thee. Earnestly I seek thee. Green means go, right? Can you hear me? Okay. No. Surprise, I'm also preaching. But I gotta get there first. All right, so this is gonna be a little bit of a preaching to the choir type thing, so I'm probably gonna cry through the whole thing, but that's okay. If God didn't want us to cry, he wouldn't have gave us tear ducts in our eyes, right? Tonight we're going to be reading in Ephesians 3:20, very well-known scripture, and we all pretty much probably know it by heart by now. So it's now to him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us. You guys may be seated. So a few months ago, I started reading this book by Priscilla Shira. I don't know if anybody in here knows who that is, but she's like a, what is she, Mom? She does like a lot of women's Bible studies and different things like that, devotionals, writes books and stuff. So anyways, I started reading this book by her called God is Able. When I first started reading this book, I did not expect for this book to in any way, shape, or form make me think any differently. That's a bad thing to do when you start reading a book. Because guess what? 2 chapters into it, and my mind was already going. So I start reading this book. By the second chapter, she starts breaking down this scripture, Ephesians 3:20 and 21. And she starts breaking down the word now. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. Because never have I ever thought of the word now like how she broke it down. It's such a simple word, 3 letters. But I already know the definition of the word now. I mean, who doesn't know that? So I kind of just ignored it. And again, I felt in my spirit God tell me, look up that definition. Sometimes he has to get a little stern with me, and I already know it. But just because, I'll do it. Did it. And I started reading the of this word, and it says, at the present time or moment. And I was like, see, I already knew what it was. I already knew what it was. And he's like, keep reading. And I was like, I rolled my eyes at him. And I was like, at the time directly following the present moment, immediately. And he said, keep reading. So I kept reading, and it said, under the present circumstance. And I knew then what God was trying to tell me. Because a lot of times we will look at where we are right now, under our present circumstance, and we're like, God, where are you right now? I knew where you were for me 2,000 years ago, but where are you for me right now? And so I began to pray about this, and I said, Lord, where am I at right now? Where am I at? And so as I was praying about this, I said, okay, Lord, you know, I started asking myself, what does my now look like? You know, where am I at my job? Where am I at in my relationship with my family, with my friends? You know, I don't have a spouse, but I do pray for my spouse. You know, how is my relationship with my son? Where am I at right now? So my question for you tonight, one of the things I would like for you to write down if you're taking notes, is what does your now look like? Because we tend to disconnect our now reality and our current reality with God's present ability and his power. God has all the ability and all the power to work in whatever we're going through right now. But because we're looking at it right now and not looking at what God can do in it right now, we take our focus and we shift it to our ability instead of his. And one of the things that I felt kind of was interesting about this is that when Paul was writing these scriptures, and it's basically a praise, it's a scripture of praise. He's giving God praise. And when he wrote these scriptures, he was in Roman confinement. He was in prison, in jail, for serving God. But there's something that Paul knew better than a lot of us, is that timing is everything. Yes. And Paul knew that if he was going to prison, that when he got there, God had a plan. Yes. And we as believers have to draw the connection between our current circumstance and the power and ability of God. And when we get to know that the same God who has allowed our now to take place has plans to display his glory right now, it makes things look a whole lot different. In John 10:10, it says, the thief comes not but to steal and to kill and to destroy. And I come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. An abundant life is not something you experience when there are no more impossible situations to deal with. Abundant life isn't something that comes when you've got it all figured out. But abundant life is when God fills your heart with peace that you can't explain, that is so far opposite of what you're looking at right now in your reality, that when people look at you, they would never know what you're actually facing. It's that peace that says, Yes, the fact is that you got a bad diagnosis. But the peace comes and says, you know a healer. It's that peace that comes and says, yeah, you may be fighting your marriage right now, and it may be a muck, but it's the peace that comes and says, I know somebody who can restore that. Amen. So, how do we make the connection? Because all of that starts when we make a connection. Hebrews 11:6 says, but without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So that tells me that faith and some effort to diligently seek him will help me make that connection. And it's like some of us, we like to put in our faith, but we don't like to put in any effort. We don't want to go to church because it's just not our thing. And we don't want to study our Bible because it's just not our thing. And we don't want to stand up during praise and worship